Chinatown on the Lower East Side of Manhattan is the largest in the Western Hemisphere. With over 150,000 Chinese here, you can also get in New York.
This is Corky. He is the undisputed, unofficial Asian American photographer laureate, right?
Correct.
And you focus mainly on issues of the Chinese community?
Yeah, the culture, the heartbeat of Chinatown. One of the things I'm going to show you today, a photograph of Chinatown still life. It talks about the Bachelor Society.
What's the Bachelor Society?
Well, up until about 1976, there were still a lot of single men who worked in restaurants. And the reason why they have so many names here is because they only were here like, well, one day a week.
Ah, so they didn't all live here, but they needed to get their mail somewhere.
Yeah, so on their day off, they would pick up their mail, they'll stay here overnight, and then go back to work for like 6 days.
Bachelors, picking up mail, crazy bachelors.
Yeah, they couldn't pick up many women, though.
No?
At least not Chinese.
Okay.
One of the photographs I had taken here was this guy who actually worked in Havana, Cuba. And he came after Castro took over because Castro expelled all the Chinese from Cuba. And he got reunited with his wife in 1979 because they had been separated for about 30 years.
Really?
This photograph so they can send to their kids in China.
So their children are still in China. They were separated for 30 years, and this is their life in New York once they were reunited.
Yeah.
Corky is recording modern Chinese-American history, which until recently has been ignored.
Only a couple decades ago, Chinatown's history was almost lost forever. You see, as the older generations retired or passed away, their stuff was simply discarded into the street along with all that it represented. However, somebody saw the treasure in that trash and created the Museum of the Chinese in the Americas.
Located in a former schoolhouse on the Lower East Side of New York, the museum hosts exhibitions and events that explore the Chinese immigrant experience.
Back in the day, there were very few options for the Chinese who were here. One thing they were allowed to do was laundry. This was called the 8-pound livelihood. Basically, over a hot stove all day, working away, pressing, laundering. It wasn't easy.
Megan meets up with John Leo, who is a guide at the museum.
So what is this? This is...
Well, actually, do you notice anything strange or different about this photo?
The collage?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, the base of this photo was taken in 1961, and the rest are actually pasted in. The father served in World War II and became a U.S. citizen and was allowed to bring his wife and children over. However, you have to have the proper paperwork. For her, they didn't have enough proof
so
that
she
was
was
the
left
daughter.
behind.
Exactly, in Hong Kong.
Oh, how sad.
Exactly. So she was separated from the family for over 20 years.
But here they are on paper.
Exactly, and it's very critical to have the whole family together.
Yeah, that's such a yearning, isn't it, for the whole.
Definitely.
That they're so spread out.
Mm-hmm.
While this may look like just any Chinese parade in the heart of Chinatown, this is actually the 60th anniversary of the American Legion Chinatown chapter, an event honoring Chinese-American veterans who fought for the U.S. Armed Services.
What makes this parade so special is that it marks the turning point for Chinese immigration in the United States. When the Chinese first came to America in the 19th century, they were subjected to horrible racism and severe immigration quotas. And it wasn't until World War II, when thousands of Chinese Americans joined the U.S. in fighting against the Japanese, that the immigration doors were opened and the Chinese community was fully welcomed into American society.
July 1st, 43, I was drafted, and of course I didn't feel any ill feeling because China is already in war with Japan.
When you came back, did you feel more part of America?
Oh yes, I feel more America because I got the country and I have social with people from all over the country. We have people from the South, up New York State and all over the country. So I felt very proud that I'm one of these service persons.
I fought in Vietnam in 1965-66.
That's incredible. And what was that experience? like? Did you see action?
Yes, I seen combat. I was in the 1st Cavalry Division Air Assaults, which we flew in the helicopters from V formation. We repelled out or we jumped out into the jungle and we fought our way out.
Did you face much discrimination?
Yes, I feel like I'm a pioneer because I'm like one of the generations that went in and nobody else was around Asian. So I feel that I had to do what they told me to do.
This is Eddie Chen. Is a corporal at that time, put the glass over Saddam Hussein's face.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. What was that like?
It was a pretty crazy experience. I mean, we were traveling through Iraq for like 3 weeks and finally made it to Baghdad. I guess we were all hoping that would be the end of the war. Maybe at that point, just thrilling to be a part of that, I guess.
Right.
God bless America, my home sweet home.
From New York, the next leg of the trail of Chinese migration takes me to Hong Kong, an island strongly rooted in its history.
Welcome to this wonderful city, Hong Kong.
From the arrival of the British in the 19th century, Hong Kong has found itself in a really unique position as a gateway between China and the rest of the world. Now, almost as soon as Hong Kong became a British colony after the Opium Wars in 1843, the city has been a halfway house, the first stop for those immigrating from China and the last stop for those re-entering the mainland.
In 1997, Hong Kong was finally handed back to the Chinese, but British and Western influences can still be found throughout the city, making it an extraordinary community within China.
While the Chinese were moving to other parts of the world and building Chinatowns, the British, they were right here, stamping their mark on Hong Kong.
It's a great place to do business. You can travel around, you can do 10 different events in a single day in such a small area as this.
This is Soho in central Hong Kong, and it's here that you see a lot of British expats having their beer, drinking their coffee, meeting friends, and people watching. So that's how it is. We give them Chinatown, and they give us Soho.
A lot more Westerners coming back in after China took over a couple of years ago. It's a good place to live and a good vibe, and everyone's really friendly.
The British takeover of Hong Kong not only changed the face of the city, but provided the impetus for another wave of Chinese migration overseas, this time to more than 5,000 miles away, to Britain itself.
London is known as the capital of cool. Not only is it home to such familiar landmarks as St. Paul's Cathedral, Tower Bridge, and the Thames, it also boasts some of the planet's best museums and art galleries. London's reputation for tolerance means the city has become a melting pot for communities from all over the world. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the first Chinese on British shores were sailors, and the first Chinatown sprung up around London docks in Limehouse. After Limehouse was blitzed during World War II, Soho in central London became the new hub for London's Chinese. The area's sleazy reputation meant that rents were cheap, so the Chinese seized the opportunity to start more laundry businesses. The servicemen returning from action abroad at the end of the war had acquired a taste for exotic foods, and the Chinese catered for this demand by opening restaurants. Changes in legislation also meant that citizens of the Commonwealth had a right to settle in Britain, leading to an influx of Chinese from Hong Kong, Singapore, and Malaysia.
My name is Mum Wei Tu. My family came in the 50s over from Hong Kong, and in 1967 they established this bakery here in what's now London Chinatown. Jamie Bao, a coconut custard bread. sensation. So it was actually my grandfather who came over initially first in 55, and through working himself in different jobs, he was able to build himself up to be able to make a start of this business. So later on, my grandmother came over, and now she's in charge here, and she's 80 now, and she's amazing. That's great. When they established it, they were able to bring over some relations and relatives from the village to come and work who were skilled in baking. And it was great because 90% of the customers were Chinese, and actually are still today.
The Chinese in the United Kingdom are well established, but many are now returning to Hong Kong in the 21st century.
After centuries of emigration, things are coming full circle. Not one to forget their roots, all these wealthy overseas Chinese are investing heavily in these towns that their ancestors had left generations ago. Many are coming home for the first time to share in one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Hong Kong is again a part of China, symbolizing not only the Chinese returning, but an influence of Chinese values on the wider world.
This is symbolized not only in the economic success, but also in the arts and culture.
The Hong Kong film industry is one area that bridged the gap between the East and the West. Now, many of the Chinese who were born overseas, they look to these movies for their role models, and stars like Jet Li, Jackie Chan, and Bruce Lee.
The Hong Kong film industry symbolizes the hybrid culture of Chinatowns all over the world.
Yeah, Hong Kong films are great, and Hollywood loves our movies. Yeah, and some of our movie stars went to Hollywood, like Jackie Chan, Chow Chi-yi, and Stephen Chow. Yeah, we always like to go to movies. Yeah.
The Hong Kong film industry rivals Hollywood for size, and there is also a lot of collaboration between the two. I met up with a couple of martial arts actors to find out more.
So have you guys worked in any Hollywood films?
Yes, we have. Me and our team trained 6 American artists for the film Matrix in 1 month, and we choreographed a fight sequence in the film. It's a very great,
I agree.
A good film.
It's a good film.
Yeah.
So what kind of Kung Fu style do you do?
In new film, they use modern style, but I don't like it. I like traditional Chinese Kung Fu.
What is that?
Punch me. Come on. This is Chinese Kung Fu Wing Chun.
I like it.
See?
Good. As China burgeons on the world stage, Hong Kong is a superb place to be. Those coming back are often influenced by great living conditions and the laissez-faire economic policies.
Hong Kong-born restaurant owner Joseph Chang grew up in Canada's West Coast, but is now enjoying life back in his homeland. I'm here in Causeway Bay to meet him.
I was born in Hong Kong, and I left Hong Kong when I was 13 years old and moved to Canada. My first job was washing dishes at McDonald's when I was 18 years old. And after 10 years of washing dishes and flipping hamburgers at McDonald's, I had enough McDonald's, so I opened my own restaurant.
Why did you actually come back to Hong Kong?
Well, the reason I come back to Hong Kong because there's a lot more opportunity here than in Canada. In Hong Kong, we have 7.5 million people compared to Vancouver, it's only 1 million. And people here are more in tune of dining out than in Canada, which means there's a lot more business for me.
So tell me, how big is your empire?
Well, right now we have 40 restaurants, 13 cuisine, and 1,400 full-time employees. And the list is growing every year.
So why do you think all these overseas Chinese are coming back home?
Well, beside the economic advantages in China, I get able to come back to learn my basic roots and to learn what I was missing when I was in overseas.
So what makes Hong Kong so different from the rest of the world?
Well, a lot of people left China many years ago to form their own Chinatown all over the world.
That's right.
But I think Hong Kong is the biggest Chinatown in the whole world.
I'll second that, yeah.
Everyone takes Chinatowns for granted, but millions of people endured unbelievable hardship in what was the greatest migration the world has ever seen. Chinese communities have never forgotten their roots, customs, and traditions. It seems these days, if you don't have a Chinatown, you're not a real city.
tuned for a special Globe Trekker Extra.
Funding for this program is provided by Subaru. The world is a playground. Question is, are you getting dirty enough? Subaru, all-wheel drive, proud and logical sponsor of Globe Trekker.
You can find out more about this series on our website. Programs from the Globe Trekker series are available on videocassette and selected titles with extra features on DVD. Music from the series is available on CD. You can also order the new Globe Trekker Annual featuring information on festivals, events, and outdoor activities. A companion book, Great Festivals of the World, is also available. To order Globe Trekker products, call 888-565-0361 or visit the website www.globetrekkertv.com. A great festival is just not the same without great festival food. Here are some of the best festivals in the world where the food is the reason for celebration. Ian travels to Spain in August for the world's most notorious food fight, La Tomatina.
In this quiet little town in southern Spain, nothing ever happens much. But strangely, it's about to become the messiest, dirtiest, most tomato-splattered spot on the planet. Bunal's Tomatina Festival dates back to the Middle Ages, but locals say it started in 1945 as a protest against Franco with the toss of a tomato. Vicente Hernandez and his friends have been attending the festival for 40 years.
The Tomato Festival started here. I used to live in that house. And opposite, there was a man singing songs with a loudspeaker. And a tomato came flying, nobody knows where from. And the tomato went into the loudspeaker. Next thing, hundreds of tomatoes came flying from everywhere. And that's how the Tomato Festival started.
Saw it on the internet, latomatina.com, and I said, this is it. And I fell in love with the idea of throwing tomatoes at another human being, and when I found out there was 20,000 of them, I had to be here.
We're gonna go with the triangle theory, where you can go in a triangle, and you can basically cover each other's backs.
The juiciest festival in town has grown to attract tourists from all over the world. On this day, the streets are packed with 20,000 competitors. Every year, sneaky Senor Hernandez has made sure that he has his own personal supply of tomatoes, so he can always buy the first shot. Then the riot erupts and the town is literally painted red. The tomatoes are the leftovers of the annual harvest, and more than 300,000 pounds of them are mashed in a mad orgy of pasta sauce. At the end of the fight, it takes hours to hose down the gallons of tomato ketchup.
La Tomatina is an experience you can only have in Spain, and it's like nothing else.
Only in Spain.
And you can only talk about it if you've been there.
A similar but somewhat more painful celebration happens in March in Italy. Ivrea's Battle of the Oranges is 3 days of all-out war using oranges for ammunition, commemorating the 12th century revolt against a tyrannical count. 400 tons of blood oranges are imported from Sicily, and although they're probably less painful than the stones hurled during the original uprising, oranges do pack a punch, as Megan finds out.
The nobility is coming, so you put as many oranges as you possibly can into your journey. And you hope to get them before they get you. 20,000 contestants bombard the nobility, who are represented in the carts parading the square. Teams are selected from the neighborhoods in which they live, so rivalry is fierce.
Gilroy's claim to fame is that you can smell it long before you can see it. And this weekend, thousands of people are coming to Gilroy, united in their passion for...
Gilroy is the self-proclaimed garlic capital of the world, and you have to see its garlic festival to believe it.
Our festival is fantastic, and our festival stinks. It stinks royal, and that's one of the most beautiful things about the festival. This town stinks. You can smell it from a mile away. When you drive in, you say, ah, that's the stink that tells me I'm in Gilroy.
Sexy. I like sexy. What do you think?
Garlic in it?
Yeah,
Garlic popcorn. Hi.
Garlic ice cream.
Garlic ice cream?
Absolutely. Pistachio garlic.
Oh, that's
a dive. But try it.
Okay.
Tell me what you think.
Okay, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
It's amazing. It goes through a whole bunch of different flavor sensations in my mouth.
Absolutely.
But the first hit was boom, garlic.
Yeah.
Hang it loose. This is the place to be. You got it.
I want to know.
You miss it, you miss life.
Local broadcast of Globe Trekker on Vermont Public Television is supported in part by Plaza Volare at the Sheraton 4 Points in Dorval, specializing in corporate conferences, wedding receptions, and events for all occasions. By Delamore Premium Pasta Sauces with no added salt or sugar. Family recipes from our grandmother Philomena, made locally in Vermont for 2 decades. Delamore Sauces, available at Hannaford supermarkets. By Milne Travel American Express, in their 3rd decade of serving northern New England's vacation and business travelers, with locations in Burlington, Barrie, Middlebury, and West Lebanon. Funding is also provided by contributing members like you.
Viewer supported, statewide, Vermont Public Television. And now, Health Minute, presented by Vermont Public Television and the Rutland Regional Medical Center. In this Health Minute, sleep disorders.
Many people do not have their sleep disorder identified or treated, and this is really important that people do pay attention to their sleep at night. Sleep disorders can predict heart attacks, strokes, high blood pressure. Many chronic diseases are made worse by undiagnosed sleep disorders that could be treated and their general condition could improve. Also, healthcare resources are used more than they need to be because if you treat the sleep disorder, frequently their healthcare utilization decreases. When somebody comes to the sleep center, some things we can treat directly with natural things like lights, and some things we use medication, but a variety of patients need to be studied further in our sleep laboratory. These folks would come to the sleep center at night where we would do on electrodes measuring brainwave, eye movement, airflow, heart, lung, legs, and they would sleep over the night. And then we would see them again in the office to go over the results and go over options for treatment.
This has been Health Minute.
I'm John King. Thank you for your support for VPT. Member support helps make VPT the excellent institution it is today. Help preserve programs that represent the best in broadcasting by becoming a member. This is a critical time as we must close the financial gap of $490,000 by June 30th. The number on the screen shows how much we have left to raise. $35 will make you a member or renew your membership. Call now.
Two creative minds.
I think there's too much tolerance of faith, and there's not enough respect for reason.
Two different conclusions.
You don't have to set up a dichotomy between faith and reason.
You decide.
The desire for God is something mysterious and yet rooted in the body.
It felt to me a better world I was living in without God.
Bill Moyers on Faith and Reason.
Be with us Friday at 9.
Next time on Nature, January 28th, 1998. Blue skies, light winds, and some of the biggest waves ever recorded.
I remember my heart pounding. It's the biggest wave I've ever seen in my life. It was crazy.
Hawaii's perfect storm.
Tune in Sunday night at 8 on Vermont Public Television.
Hi, I'm Justine Shapiro from Globe Trekker. No matter where I go in the world, I always remember to take two things with me, my backpack and you. Join me and my fellow travelers on Globe Trekker.
Thursday nights at 9 here on VPT.
This is the planet we share. Each week we travel above, below, and across its surface on a journey of discovery. Today, in Lake Tahoe,
it's okay, baby.
Some unwelcome house guests are sent packing. In Alaska, the season of the salmon means a perilous journey home. And the wild business of fighting wildfires. On the ground.
What's the goal line?
And in the air. This is Wild Chronicles.
Sponsored by National Geographic Mission Programs, taking science and exploration into the new millennium. Additional support provided by Lindblad Expeditions, celebrating 5 decades of exploration to the wildest places on Earth.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Wild Chronicles. I'm Boyd Matson, your host and sanitation engineer this week, because we are starting off with trash. Pizza crust, stale donuts, that leftover meatloaf that nobody wanted to finish last night. What may be garbage to us can be a tempting treat for wild animals, especially black bears. As you're about to see, as more and more homes are being built in what were wild habitats, bears are developing a taste for our fast food culture.
They can forage all day, searching for berries and nuts, sucking up insects in preparation for their long winter's hibernation. But increasingly, like the humans who live nearby, black bears are discovering the conveniences of fast food. It turns out, junk food is bad for bears, just as it is for humans. According to researchers, these midnight snackers tend to put on a lot of unhealthy weight.
We see bears that do amazing things. They're a really hard animal to manage because
giant Rexy hug for your hard work. Teddy! Of all the teddy bears in the whole wide world, he's my most favorite. Teddy is my favorite because he's so much fun to play with. He needs lots of loving. Teddy always makes me feel better. He's the official hug authority. That means he's the best hugger in the whole wide world.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Local broadcast of Caillou on Vermont Public Television is supported in part by Smuggler's Notch Vermont, America's Family Resort, award-winning children's programs presented year-round, by Child Care Fund of Vermont, promoting school success through early care and education. Information is available at our website. This broadcast is also supported by contributing members like you.
Hi, I'm LeVar, and it's that time of year again. I'm talking about the Reading Rainbow Young Writers and Illustrators Contest. It's a chance for everyone in kindergarten through 3rd grade to create your very own story and win some great prizes and a certificate of achievement signed by me. So, be sure and enter the Reading Rainbow Young Writers and Illustrators Contest today because I'm looking forward to reading your story. Here's how to find out more.
For contest rules and an entry form, call 1-800-639-3351 or write to the address on the screen. And have fun writing.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station by viewers like you. Thank you.
Coming up next on the Berenstain Bears.
Well, I'm glad you didn't come by any earlier, or you would have missed us.
We were at Dr. Grizzly's for our checkup.
Mama. Oh, is the lemonade too sour?
Honey has her first checkup this afternoon, and she's a little upset about it.
But Dr. Grizzly is really nice. You'll like getting a checkup. I don't want to go for a checkup, and I'm not gonna. Sorry, I was just trying to help. It is going to be scary, and I'm not